The knock at Human Colony Gate. The red sun was slowly setting behind the sharp metal towers of Human Colony Nova 13. Dust hung in the air, glowing like gold as evening came. Everything seemed calm. But peace never lasted long in space. Private Daniel, a young soldier on gate duty, yawned and looked at the empty desert beyond the fence. Nothing had moved out there for days. No animal, no alien. Just dead land and silence. Then he saw her. A figure was walking slowly toward the gate. Not running, not hiding. Just walking, holding something close. Daniel stood straight. "Alert!" he shouted. Cameras turned. Lights focused on the figure. The alarms did not scream yet, but the security system locked onto her shape. She came closer. An alien woman. Her skin was soft blue, her eyes wide and tired. Two small children walked beside her, one holding her hand, the other hiding behind her long robe. Daniel grabbed the mic. "You are entering human territory. Stop." Now, the woman stopped. She looked at the gate, then at the cameras, then at the sky. She raised both hands empty. I come." "In peace," she said, her voice soft, slow, almost broken. Her children looked scared. One of them whispered something in a strange language. The other one coughed. The gate guards looked at each other. No alien had ever approached the colony like this before. Especially not with children. Especially not. Alone. Daniel switched the mic again. "State your name, your reason." The woman blinked slowly. No threat. Just mother. Widow." Her hand touched her chest. "My name, Riamal. My children need safety." She paused. Then her voice changed. Lower, serious. "I can cook, I clean, I stay quiet. I can warm your bed. Just let us in." There was silence. Daniel looked confused. What kind of offer was that? The commander was called. Soon, more soldiers came. The gates stayed shut. The woman and her children were told to sit down. Inside the control room, Commander Briggs, an older, hard-faced man, watched the screen. "This could be a trick," he said. "A spy or bait." "But sir," said a female officer, "she has children, and she's alone." Commander Briggs didn't blink. "Some species use children as weapons." The security system scanned the family. No weapons detected. No tech. Just old clothes, some dry food, and a broken translator device. Then something strange happened. One of the children stepped forward. He looked at the camera directly. In perfect English, he said, "Please don't send us back. They will find us." Every soldier froze. The voice was clear. The tone, afraid. Commander Briggs leaned forward. "Who is they?" The child didn't answer. He stepped back behind his mother. Riamal looked up. "I have walked many suns. My people, gone. My mate, dead. My children, hunted." She pointed behind her. "Out there, danger. Death. In here, maybe hope." Another silence followed. Commander Briggs sighed. "Bring them in, carefully." Two guards walked out, weapons ready. The gate opened slowly with a loud hiss. Riamal stood up and held her children close. She walked in slowly, each step careful. She passed Daniel. She stopped. Her eyes met his. "You are human," she said softly. Daniel nodded. I single quotes Mal smiled a little. "Humans, dangerous, but fair. I hope this is true." Then she walked forward. Inside, they were taken to a holding room, clean, cold, quiet. A doctor came to examine them. The children were healthy but thin. The mother had many scars, old, deep. Some looked like burn marks. Others, strange patterns. "Not accident," she said. "They mark us, property, slave." The doctor looked shocked. Commander Briggs entered the room. We will give you water, food, but you must tell us everything. Riamal nodded. I will. Just let them sleep first. Her children were already lying down. One curled against her side, the other under her arm. Briggs watched them. One question, he said. What did you mean? Warm our bed? Riamal looked tired. I learn your ways. Some men like soft comfort. I offer peace. Any way I can. Briggs frowned but said nothing. Outside the sky turned dark. The wind rose, and far beyond the desert, in the shadows of the stars, something else moved. Something that had followed her. Something that did not knock. The lights were too bright. The room too quiet. Everything in the interview chamber was made of cold steel. The floor, the walls, even the chairs. Riamal sat still, her robe wrapped tightly around her thin frame. Her children were sleeping in another room, under watch. She had given them one final kiss before entering. 2 human guards stood behind her, silent. Across the table, Commander Briggs watched her. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes, sharp, like blades. He spoke first. You say you come in peace. You say you are a mother, but I have seen mothers lie before. So I ask you again, why are you here? Riamal didn't blink. To live. Briggs leaned forward. That's not enough, her voice cracked. To hide, to save them. Briggs tapped the table with a pen. From who? She hesitated. Then her eyes filled with something like fear or shame. From the ones who killed my mate, she whispered. From the ones who made my people kneel. From the ones who turned children into tools. She reached slowly into her robe and placed something on the table. A small metal disc, burned, cracked, and glowing faintly. The guard stiffened. Briggs raised an eyebrow. What is it? A slave tag, she said quietly. They put it in us, to track, to hurt, to control. I tore mine out. Briggs didn't touch it. Why did they want you? They don't want me, she said. They want my children. She looked up. They are not like me, not fully. My mate was not from my world. Briggs's voice turned cold. So your children are hybrids? Yes, she nodded. And that makes them valuable, dangerous, to the wrong hands. Briggs stood and walked to the other side of the room. He stared at the screen showing her 2 sleeping children. So peaceful. So still. And yet, that boy had spoken perfect English. Without a translator. Too perfect. Briggs asked, why did your son speak our language? Riamal looked down. He listens. He learns. Fast. Faster than me. Faster than anyone I know. Briggs turned back. What else can he do? Her silence spoke louder than words. Then she said quietly, things I do not understand. Things I fear. Meanwhile, in the observation room, 2 scientists and a young officer were watching the feed. She's hiding something, the scientist muttered. But what if she's telling the truth? The officer asked. What if those kids are in danger? The screen flickered. For just 1 second, the boy in bed opened his eyes and looked straight at the camera. Then he smiled. The screen went dark. Camera malfunction. The system announced, but no one in the room believed it. Back in the interview room, Briggs was losing patience. You ask for food, shelter, safety. That costs us resources, risk. What do we get in return? Riamal straightened her back. I can serve, she said. Clean, cook. I know poisons. I know healing herbs. I know how to fight if needed. Then her voice dropped. I can also warm your bed. If that's your price. The guards looked at each other, surprised. Briggs narrowed his eyes. Is that how you survived before? She nodded once. Many aliens pay with weapons. I have only myself. Briggs sat down again. Let's say I believe you. What happens when those who Hunt you arrive? Riamal's eyes turned hard. They will, soon. Briggs leaned in. Then you brought danger to my colony. She looked at him for a long time. No, she said. I brought warning. That night, Commander Briggs couldn't sleep. He replayed the interview over and over in his mind. Something about her words, her eyes, felt real. But something felt missing. Then, a call came through. The tech team monitoring the sky picked up a strange signal, a silent code hidden in background radiation. Not from Earth, not from Nova 13. The signal repeated. Every 11 seconds. A hunt signal dot, and it was getting closer. The lights in the medical room were soft, not like the harsh lights in the interview chamber. But Riamal still looked nervous, like even soft light could burn her. She sat on the edge of the metal bed. Her robe was half open at the back. The human doctor, a calm woman named Dr. Lena, gently scanned her spine. A small device hummed and blinked. The scanner beeped. What is it? Asked the guard near the door. Dr. Lena frowned. Her body. It's full of old scar tissue. Some is deep, some looks implanted. She touched a strange mark near Riamal's shoulder, a round symbol burned into her skin. This is not natural, she said. It's not from war. It's a brand. Riamal's voice was soft. It was my price. Dr. Lena looked at her. Your price? Riamal nodded slowly. On my world, when the war came, they did not kill all of us. They took us, some for work, some for experiments, some for pleasure. Her voice cracked. We were tagged like animals. She turned slightly, showing her lower back. Another brand, different, older, deeper. Dr. Lena felt cold in her bones. You escaped that? Riamal shook her head. I was sold, again and again, for food, for power, until one day a man bought me and gave me clothes, not chains. A pause. My mate, she said, voice trembling. He was not like them, not like me. He was something more. Back in the command room, Commander Briggs and his team were watching through a live feed. The room was silent as Riamal's voice continued. He came in a silver ship, alone. We feared him, but he spoke gently. He chose me, and he gave me freedom. She touched the side of her neck. I did not understand him, but he understood me. Dr. Lena sat down beside her. Your children, they're his? Riamal nodded. He said they would be strong, that they would be hunted, that they must hide. The doctor looked at her scans again. You've carried more than children. Riamal nodded again. He placed something inside me, a gift, a key. I don't know what it is, but others want it. The screen behind Dr. Lena flashed. A hidden implant, a tiny object, deep in her rib cage. That's tech, Lena whispered. Old, not human, not like any alien we've seen. Riamal looked tired. He said one day it will open, and when it does, the enemy will burn. At the same time, young Private Daniel was outside the medbay. He wasn't supposed to be there, but something had pulled him. Something quiet, like a whisper. He looked through the glass. The children were sleeping again. But the little girl, her eyes were open, staring at him. He felt a pressure in his head, a warmth. Then he heard a voice, not out loud. In his mind, you're kind, but scared. You lost your brother. In Sector 9, Daniel froze. How do you know that? He whispered. I can feel things, the voice said. I hear pain. I feel memories. The little girl blinked. Her lips never moved. Daniel stepped back, confused, scared. Then the boy woke up. He stood. He said out loud, They're close now. The sky sings with hunters. The lights above flickered. A moment later, alarms began to ring. In the command room, radar picked up something. A faint object. No signal. No heat. A ship. Hiding in the black dot. Briggs stood. They're here. He looked at the screen. The implant in Riemol's body. Is that what they're after? Dr. Lena responded, it's not just tech, it's a message. A defense. Maybe. A weapon. Back in the medbay, Riemol looked up. It's starting, she said. Dr. Lena asked, what is? Riemol stood slowly, her children now awake. Beside her, the war that never ended. The one you humans never knew was coming. The wind outside was louder tonight. It howled across the colony walls like a warning. The stars above Nova 13 seemed dimmer. Something unseen was getting closer. Inside the nursery room, Private Daniel stood watch, his eyes fixed on the two alien children behind the glass. We're quiet. Too quiet. The boy sat on the floor, eyes closed, humming softly. A strange rhythm, not music, not language. The little girl was drawing on the wall with her finger. But there was no pen. No chalk. Still, glowing lines appeared. Wherever she touched, Daniel leaned closer. What is she doing? He whispered. Commander Briggs was watching the feed again. His voice was calm, but his grip on the table was tight. Get Lena here, now. Within minutes, Dr. Lena arrived, still in her med coat. They've done nothing wrong, she said. They're just children. Briggs pointed at the glowing drawings. Then tell me why that girl is writing formulas in a language no one taught her. Lena looked again. The symbols weren't alien. They were advanced quantum equations. Equations she had only seen in top-secret AI labs. She shouldn't know this, Lena said quietly. Back in the room, Daniel blinked. The boy had opened his eyes, but they weren't normal anymore. They glowed. Soft silver light. Then that boy stood and walked toward the glass. You're scared of us, he said calmly. But we're scared too. Daniel stepped back. You can read minds? No, the boy said. I feel them, like wind in the soul. The little girl turned around. Her hands were glowing now. Watch, she said. She pointed at the wall. The drawings shifted. They moved like holograms. The lines turned into a shape, a ship, a dark one. Sharp wings, black metal. Daniel gasped. That's the one from the radar. The boy nodded. They're almost here. And they want to take us back. Dr. Lena entered the room, slowly. She knelt beside the girl. Can you show me more? She asked. The girl looked up. Only if you believe me. Lena nodded. I do. The girl touched her forehead gently. Lena flinched. A flash entered her mind. A vision. A prison planet. Fires. Screams. Thousands of children in cages. Robotic guards. Branding machines. Then, Riemol running. Her mate shielding her from a blast. And the children, glowing, lifting a ship. With their minds, Lena staggered back, gasping. What? What are they? She whispered. Commander Briggs stepped in. We're running out of time. What are we dealing with? The boy answered, this time looking straight at Briggs. We are not weapons, but we were made into weapons. By who? Briggs demanded. The boy said nothing, but the lights flickered again. Then Riemol walked into the room. She had heard everything. They are beyond what you know, she said. The race that hunts us, they do not kill to win, they take to own. They raise minds like crops. She pointed at her children. They are seeds of power, of evolution. Briggs didn't speak. Then he asked, can they be controlled? Riemol's face hardened. No, and that's why they fear them. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the colony. Intruder detected. Airspace breached. Outside, in the dark sky, a ship uncloaked. Black. Silent. The same shape the girl had. Drawn. Panic spread in the control room. Briggs turned. Arm the shields. Prepare the guns. The boy walked up to him. We can stop them, he said. But you have to let us try. Briggs stared at the child. You're what, 6? I'm not a number, he said. I'm a warning. In the final shot, the girl stepped onto the colony floor outside the medical wing. Dust swirled around her feet. The wind pulled her hair upward like static. Her hands began to glow. The black ship in the sky turned, slowly, toward her, and she whispered something no human could understand. But the wind stopped, and so did the ship. Space does not scream, but it can whisper fear. Above Nova 13, the black ship hung like a shadow in the stars, silent. Still, watching Dot inside the colony, tension crackled in every hallway. People moved quickly. Guards loaded weapons. Scientists backed up data. Lights turned red across the main tower. Everyone knew. This wasn't a visit. This was a hunt. In the control room, Commander Briggs stood with fists clenched behind his back. How close? He asked. 15 kilometers. Number. Signal no response. It's just watching, said the tech officer. Briggs turned to Dr. Lena, who had just arrived with the children's latest brain scan report. She didn't speak right away. Finally, she said, their minds are accelerating. The boy's neurons are firing. Like an AI processor, the girl sees electromagnetic fields. They're not evolving. They're already past us. Briggs didn't look surprised, just tired. Can they help us? He asked. They want to, she replied. But they're still children. They don't understand war yet. In a quiet underground chamber, Riamal sat with her children. Her eyes were closed, but her fingers traced small patterns in the dust, a language only she remembered. The boy, Kai, was staring at the ceiling. They're not here to talk, he said. Riamal nodded. I know. The little girl, Luma, held something in her hands. A small stone from their old planet. She crushed it slowly, letting the pieces fall. Will they hurt Daniel? She asked. Riamal looked at her daughter. They will hurt anyone who stands in their way. Luma's eyes began to glow. Then we stand. Private Daniel, now assigned as their escort, stood just outside the door, rifle in hand. He'd heard every word. He wasn't afraid anymore. Just unsure. These weren't normal kids. But they weren't monsters either. He remembered what Luma had shown him, a memory of her mother bleeding, hiding under broken stars. A memory of her father, tall and glowing, protecting them from something dark. Then his comm buzzed. Daniel, bring the children to the war room now. In the war room, every screen showed the ship, now 10 kilometers away, moving slowly, drifting like a shark. They're scanning us, said the tech. Then scan them back. Briggs ordered. We already did, she said. There's no crew, no cockpit, no signal. It's alive, or controlled remotely. A second officer turned pale. We just got this. She hit a key. A voice came from the speaker, slow, broken, metallic. Return the hybrid flesh. Or burn. No name, no identity. No terms. Just one demand. I stepped forward. We are not theirs, he said. Briggs looked at him. Then what are you? The boy didn't answer right away. We are the result of something old. Something they tried to destroy, Dr. Lena whispered. They're afraid of you. No, Kai replied. They're afraid of what we might remember. Suddenly the screen flashed red. The ship had fired something. Not a missile, not a laser. It was a pulse, invisible. Silent. All power flickered. Lights dimmed. Screens blurred. Gravity shifted for 2 seconds. EMP? Someone shouted. No. The tech said. It was a search. What kind of search? Briggs barked. Then Kai spoke again. They're looking for me. In the lower floors of the colony, doors slammed shut. Some lights went out completely. Infirmaries lost power. Backup systems kicked in. The enemy wasn't attacking Dot, it was probing, learning, marking targets. Briggs, paste. If we send them away. They leave? Kai looked at him. If you send us out, we die. But they will not stop there. They will come for your minds next. Your children, your language, everything that makes you human. A beat of silence. Briggs looked at Riamal. You? Knew this would happen. She nodded. I warned you. I offered everything I had. Because I knew. Once they find us, no world stays untouched. Outside, the black ship started moving faster. 6 kilometers. Then 5. The air in the colony turned heavier. Then Kai stepped forward and did something no one expected. He raised his hands. His eyes glowed like stars. And every screen in the war room went dark, except one. It showed inside the enemy ship. No seats. No crew. Just rows of organic pods. Each one pulsing. Inside each pod, a child. Alien, human, hybrid, all asleep. All being copied. Gasps filled the room. Luma whispered, "Those are their blueprints. Their next army." Briggs turned. "They want to clone you." "No," said Kai. "They want to overwrite us." Briggs finally made the call. He hit the red button on the console. "All units, prepare for engagement. Full lockdown. No one leaves. No one enters." He looked at the children. "You're part of this colony now. We fight together." Riamal closed her eyes. For the first time, she looked like she could breathe. Some battles start with gunfire. Others begin in silence. At Human Colony Nova 13, the halls were silent now, not from peace, but from the weight of a decision that could change everything. Commander Briggs stood at the war table. Around him, screens flickered, backup systems buzzed, and officers waited for orders with heavy eyes. In front of him stood Riamal and her 2 children, the only hope left, or the biggest risk humanity had ever seen. Dr. Lena laid the file down on the table. "No one moved. Everything we found confirms it," she said. "These children, they're not just hybrids. They're living code. Their DNA holds patterns, not just biology, but design, language, defense, maybe, even weapons." Briggs looked at her sharply. "So they're weapons?" "They're not designed to destroy," Lena said. "They're designed to remember." "Remember what?" Someone asked. I single quotes Mal answered. "The galaxy before the darkness. Before the harvesters. Before minds were turned into machines." The boy Kai stepped forward. "We are memories. Of species that fought. And fell." Luma took his hand. "We are the ones they failed to erase." An officer slammed a fist on the table. "So what do we do?" "If we let them stay, that black ship will call more. If we send them out, we're safe. Maybe." Briggs stared at the screen, still showing the inside of the alien vessel. The pods, the children, the copies. He said nothing. Not yet. In the lower wing of the colony, soldiers gathered. Whispers spread like fire. "They're aliens. They're kids. They're bombs." Private Daniel stood at the edge, listening. "They saved our systems when the EMP hit," he said. "They kept our gravity stable." A soldier spat. "Or they let it happen, so we trust them." Then boom. Daniel didn't argue. He just said, "One thing, she touched my mind, and I saw my brother again. For 2 seconds. Not a trick. A memory. She didn't hurt me. She gave something back." That silenced them. For now. Back in the war room, the black ship was moving again. 4 kilometers. No weapons fired. No demands repeated. Just pressure. Slow and growing, like a hand pressing. On the throat of the sky. Briggs finally spoke. There's another option. Everyone turned. He looked at Kai and Luma. You say you remember. Then help us fight. Not just survive. Win. Kai blinked. You want us to use what we are? Briggs nodded. If you are memory, then let memory strike. Riemel stepped forward. If they use their power, they might not stay children. Briggs's voice was low. We might not stay human either. A long pause. Then Kai said, I will do it. Luma looked up. We go together. In the center of the colony, the shield tower was activated. KEI and Luma stood in front of it. Palms open, their eyes lit like twin moons. Lines of light ran across the ground like veins through steel. The shield tower began to hum. Then vibrate. Then glow. The children were rewriting its energy field. Inside the enemy ship, something changed. The pods reacted. Movement, twitching, systems, activating. They knew. They were watching. They were coming. Suddenly power spiked. Nova 13's shield burst into a wave of white light. Not just around the colony, but above it, in the sky, a dome? No, a mirror. The black ship paused. It saw itself, its code. Its stolen forms, then it began to scream. Not sound, but radiation, pressure. Fractured space. The colony trembled. Lights exploded. Sirens blared. Briggs shouted into the mic. Status! Shield holding, someone yelled. But it's bleeding power. Kai and Luma were sweating now, trembling, their bodies glowing from within. If they push harder... Lena warned. Briggs turned to Riemel. Can we stop it? Riemel's voice was hollow. Only if they choose to stop being children. Kai turned to Luma. I'm not afraid. She looked up at him. But I am. Then she let go of his hand and walked forward alone. She stepped outside the gate. The black ship saw her. And 4. The first time, it hesitated. Luma raised her hands and spoke a word that didn't exist. The ship folded, not exploded. Folded. Like paper, burning inward. A ripple of energy spread. Then silence. Stars returned, and the ship was gone. Luma collapsed. Kai ran to her, caught her, held her. She opened her eyes once and whispered, I changed the memory. Then she slept. Nova 13 was safe. For now, but Briggs knew the war had only begun, and it had started with a question. Do we fight, or do we betray? They called it a miracle. But miracles don't leave scorch marks on steel and silence in children's eyes. The black ship was gone. Nova 13 still stood. The stars had returned to the sky, but inside the walls, something had changed forever. Luma hadn't woken up. She lay in the medical bay, chest rising slow, eyes closed, skin faintly glowing like the memory of a star. Kai never left her side. She used something. We didn't understand, Dr. Lena whispered to Commander Briggs. She rewrote a ship, Briggs said. She rewrote a threat. What kind of child can do that? Lena looked down. Not a child anymore. In the upper dome of the colony, a message was being prepared. The decision had been made, not by force, by hope. Briggs stood in front of the camera. He looked into the lens, not as a soldier, but as a man who had witnessed something ancient and new. Message to Earth. Transmission. Begins. This is Commander Briggs of Nova 13. An event occurred. One that may rewrite how we define life, threat, and the word alien. We were approached by a mother, a widow. She came unarmed, with 2 children, hybrids. We nearly turned them away. We nearly let fear speak louder than reason. But we listened. And when danger came, it was them who protected us. Not with weapons, not with violence, but with memory, with code. With something older than language, the will to survive and the will to choose peace. He paused, Her name is Riamal. Her children are named Kai and Luma. They are not human, but they are not enemies. And I say this as a soldier of Earth. If this is the future, we would be fools to fear it. We must answer her plea. Back. Inside the colony, Riamal stood at the glass, watching the medical bay. Daniel approached her slowly. She's stable, he said. No damage, no pain, just resting. Riamal didn't turn. She spoke a word that never existed. She said softly, "A word I cannot translate." Daniel frowned. "What did it do?" "She didn't destroy the ship," Riamal answered. "She showed it its own fear, its own origin. That ship remembered what it once was." Daniel nodded slowly. "And it couldn't handle it." Kai finally left his sister's side. He walked into the courtyard where the children of the colony had drawn pictures in chalk across the stone. He sat in the middle. A human girl offered him a crayon. He didn't draw. A weapon. He didn't draw a ship. He drew a tree, its roots deep, its leaves shaped like stars. 1 week later, a ship from Earth arrived. White hull, no guns, only diplomats, scientists, and one very nervous general. They walked into the colony expecting aliens. They found a mother holding her daughter's hand, and a boy teaching a human child how to glow. They asked one question: why should we trust them? Commander Briggs answered, because we already did. That night, for the first time in years, Nova 13 turned off its shield, not because it was safe, but because it had chosen to be open. And far beyond the stars, where silent ships drifted and empires still whispered in the dark, someone else watched and waited. But now, they would face something different. Not just a human colony, not just hybrid children, but a species that had remembered how to say no, a species that had learned how to say yes, and a mother's plea, simple, honest, desperate, was finally answered. Not with chains, not with cages, but with a seat at the table.